Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Fishing for Men. Tonight, we're going to continue our testimony series. You've probably, if you haven't heard, you can go back and listen to Cody's testimony, Brandon's, and myself. This is Cole. We've kind of dropped them in randomly throughout our podcast. And tonight, we're going to go on with Billy. If you can introduce yourself. They've heard your voice plenty of times.
Hey, y'all.
We've also got Cody here with me.
Hello, hello.
To kick it off, I just want to kind of give a little background of how I met Billy. It was over 2 years now, and I mean, Billy's a huge part of where I'm at in my faith now, so I'd love to thank him for that. But when I met Billy, I'm like, man, this guy's got it figured out. He works for a great company. He looks super young. I thought he was my age, but he's actually much younger than me.
I'm only 20. But really like about to be 35.
But he's doing all the same things I was, so I was like, I gotta be friends with this guy. And it may be only 2 years now, but it feels like I've been friends with Billy for much longer than that. I don't know about you, Cody.
Yeah, you put me on the spot, but I'm drunk.
Where did we first meet? Was it here? No. I mean, where was it at? Cole's in the garage?
No.
Or was it Bible study?
It had to have been Bible study. We were all three at the same table at one point.
Oh, we were. Yes. The wisdom table.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what I called it.
We were all at the...
Yeah.
We were.
Because then Billy got his own,
Yep.
and then I got mine, and then you got yours.
That's where it would have been. Then, Bible study.
That's right. But then we all started getting to know each other more at that first
Retreat.
lake party.
Oh, yeah.
Just kidding. First fishing trip.
First men's retreat.
Yes.
Yeah. Great times. But I just want to start with that just because Billy's only been a part of my life for 2 years, but I feel like I've known him for much longer. And I have
Maybe
a
you're going to learn
feeling,
something new tonight.
I have a feeling I'm going to get to know you a little bit more. So
Go back to layers.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So let's kick this off, Billy. If you could just give us a little background of, where you're born and raised, and we'll kind of take it from there. Ask questions as we go.
The best place on earth, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I was born and raised in Texas. It kind of feels like I'm one of the few. So many people have moved to Texas now.
Out of all of us in the group, were you, Cody?
Yeah.
You were born and raised in Texas? Okay, so you two are the only ones out of our
Everybody
group.
else is
I spent
from
a
other
couple years
places.
in Carolina, but yeah, born in San Antonio and since second grade or third grade here.
Yeah, it's kind of wild to think about.
Yeah, born and raised. I was born in a small town in South Texas. I guess they're not super small anymore, but it's called Victoria. My mom's family still lives there. And then my parents moved up to the Austin area when I was like 3, I think. And then that's why I grew up just outside Austin. Pretty much my whole childhood, I've basically just done this migration all the way up north, and I'm really scared that I'm going to end up in Oklahoma soon. We just are about to close on a property. It's about 30 minutes from Oklahoma.
Is it 30 minutes from the border? Yeah. Wow, that's funny.
Like it just keeps climbing. I'm like, please stop.
Just keep trying to...
But we've been, me and my wife met in Waco, Texas. Cool story about that is we actually grew up 15 minutes from each other in Austin. I played baseball with all of the friends that went to her high school, and she played soccer with all the girls that went to my high school on like club teams and stuff.
That's cool.
And so I actually dated one of those girls, so there's a very good chance that I actually saw her play soccer, but I didn't know who she was. The cool part about that is, and we can get into that later, but one of the coolest things was when I was dating her, we went to my uncle's lake house for the weekend with my parents, and they're like, hey, we invited our friends from Venezuela. And she's like, oh, hey, I know some people from there. That's cool. And they walked in, and they're like, hi, Katie.
Wow.
Their son and her brother had played soccer together. So there's a lot of these weird cross paths.
Such a small world.
It is like
Such a
really
small
strange. Like we literally weren't very far from each other, probably crossed paths. Like I really want to, like when I get to heaven one day, be like, hey God, can you just show me how many times we walked past each other and just had no absolute idea.
Yeah.
That was going to be the future one day.
Yeah.
And then after Waco, I took a small stint in Tyler before I went to Waco. We'll talk about it in a little bit. And then been in DFW for 12 years now. Yeah. Yeah. So one other sibling, she's 7 years younger than me. Her name's Molly. She has a wonderful family out towards East Texas now with my niece and nephew, which are wonderful.
The one of them's pretty fresh, right?
Yes. Yeah. Mr. Ezra.
Ezra.
Yeah.
I like that name.
I love his name too. Man's going to do some big things. And then grew up going to church my whole life. I grew up in a loving house, obviously not without any challenges between my parents. They separated multiple times as we were growing up, but I knew that my parents both loved me deeply. Me and my dad got to bond a lot over sports and baseball. And my mom was, I tell people I got like my listening skills from my mom. She was a nurse, which was really funny because my wife is also still a registered nurse, even though she doesn't work in a hospital right now. So kind of just carried that along. I always tell people, I'm like, I just need somebody to take care of me.
Yeah.
But they did. My parents did have some of those challenges, but I know they were doing the best that they could with what they were taught. So, what were we going to ask?
Yeah, I was going to backpedal a little bit with your dad in sports. Were there challenges or anything that you two would run into when it came to athletics?
Not a ton. I was the kid that was incredibly hard on myself. So my dad didn't say a lot to me. Like if I had a rough game, like I had friends' dads that were like the screamers from the dugout, like in your face. I'm like, holy cow. But not that I recall. I don't recall my dad ever doing that to me, but I think that's also because he knew like if I did in my eyes poorly, I would sit in the car and I would have just a pissed look on my face. I would be completely silent, and he just wouldn't say anything because I would be replaying everything in my head of like, I could have done this better, could have done this better.
Oh, yeah.
So there's no need to motivate, like to do better or like, hey, do that kind of thing. He always told me, he's like, hey, look, if you want my advice, like just ask. Or if you want to get up and practice, like it's on you to do that. I'm not going to force you to do that stuff, which I was appreciative of. Yeah, but yeah, he was my coach for all of my teams outside of at school until I was 18. So we traveled all over the country, played in Oklahoma, played at LSU, played in Georgia, played in California, I played in Colorado. Like we traveled, that was our summers. Like, and I look back on that now, like that was actually a lot of our family vacation. So deeply appreciative of my parents for that because they sacrificed a bunch to be able to allow me to do that because travel baseball was not cheap.
Yeah. Yeah. Gotcha.
So
very good.
Still have good relationship with both of my parents. And yeah, they're both, my mom is remarried now, and my dad is dating somebody who's pretty awesome too. So it's been good to finally see them find somebody else. But yeah, growing up, I would say my mom was more the spiritual leader in our household. It was super important to her. She's the one who I would say pushed me more in that direction. And I know what's been really cool. My mom journaled a lot. She wanted to write. She still wants to write a book for both me and my sister.
Really?
Yeah, separate ones, which is really cool. And so she has a lot of journal entries that she's like finding, and she has written some. And I wish I would have pulled some of them up. But just looking over some of the prayers that she prayed over me when I was really little, is really cool to see because some of those have like come to fruition. Now of like just being a leader, and she was the one I distinctly remember calling out to me that I would be a leader in some way, shape, or form.
Speaking of the trust we have in God, like our message tonight with the church. Wow.
Yeah, because you'll hear that it was not a straight shot to leadership in any way, shape, or form. So my mom had the trust.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, she'll send me them every once in a while. So it's really cool. Really cool just to see that. And then it's been cool just to understand some of the stuff that my mom was working through, because she doesn't leave that stuff out of the journal entry. So it gives me a little peek behind the curtains too sometimes. So yeah, it's that part's pretty cool when she sends them to me.
Yeah.
And then I would say, although my dad was not the spiritual leader in the house at the time, I would say the divorce probably shook him a little bit. And it's been really cool to watch him lean into his faith probably over the past few years. He told me this really cool story. I think it was probably 3 weeks ago, maybe a month. I don't know. Do y'all remember whenever Pastor Brock did the message with the little Jesuses? Mm-hmm. So he carries a bag of these around.
Mine's sitting down there on the Bible.
His, I think it was his girlfriend that bought them one. And so he goes around, he gives them out to everybody. I'm like, that's so cool. Because
that's awesome.
my dad was not that person when I was growing up. And so it's been cool to see him sort of come outside his shell a little bit.
So he's back in the church. And
so even after they got divorced, my dad still went to church by himself.
okay.
And we continue to do that. And if you're listening, Dad, you still need to get in the men's group. So
Nothing like
still nudging on him to do that. I just wanted to find the community that I've got to experience, like with you guys. So,
yeah. I wish that for every guy out there.
Absolutely.
For sure.
But growing up, I don't watch a lot of TV shows. What's the one where the Believe sign? What's it? The TV show.
Oh, Ted Lasso?
Yeah. When what's the guy? I don't remember the guy's name. He says, "Ball is life."
Yeah, football is life, coach.
So baseball is life. Like that was that was everything.
I was about to ask where baseball was compared to Jesus.
Baseball.
Life. Yeah.
That's pretty much
Number one.
Yeah. That was.
Did you like idolize was it pro baseball? You got into that. Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I had pictures at the time, although I'm a huge Rangers fan now. I had pictures and posters of one I was part of. Michael Jordan had like a breakfast club thing. I don't even know what it was. I was part of that. And I had his poster up on the wall. I had all of, at the time, it's called the Killer Bees, the Houston Astros, Berkman, Biggio, Bagwell.
Okay.
And they were up there. Biggio's my favorite player, always growing up, played second base. And what's cool is my grandmother, his mom, is still a massive baseball fan. And she watches every week, both Rangers and Astros. So she would always be the one staying up late when I went to my grandparents' house and she was watching sports and basketball and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, baseball was everything. Like that's all I wanted to do. Now, I would say that I got distracted with girls later on, and so that probably took more time than maybe baseball did.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
My dad built me a pitching mound in the backyard. We used to go hit in the cages at the high school, I don't know, several times a week before they had those. They have them now. But it's the rope with the baseball in that you swing around and the kids hit it. My dad had made me one of those long before those ever came out, and so we would just go out there for hours.
Man,
and do it.
I've got to ask, with all that time you spent swinging a bat, throwing a ball, was there any injuries growing up? That's impressive.
Wow.
No, I never got. So what's interesting about that? So I went to Tyler Junior College to pitch, and as if you ever see me. There's a reason why I didn't play pro baseball. I am not of said stature at any way, shape, or form. And I was even smaller when I was in high school and college. I graduated from high school at like $150. $155. Was hoping to put on weight. And I was trying so hard. I was drinking protein shake with like 3 scoops of protein, 2
gallon of chocolate milk,
2 scoops of ice cream in it.
Yeah.
And I was losing weight.
Yeah.
Like I just couldn't put it on. And then I went to college and we were doing, I was doing 2 days basically because I wanted to put on the weight. So I was working out with the baseball team and I was doing my own workout at night and I lost 5 pounds. So I'm like 5'9.5" and 150 pounds. Like baseball was not in the future.
Astros hire little guys though.
They do. But I was a sidearm pitcher and always growing up, I had been doing that for pretty much ever kid pitch started.
Is that the healthiest pitch for the shoulder?
Well, yes.
Is it?
It is, actually.
I don't know a lot
From
about it.
my understanding, yes, because if you look at softball pitchers, in girls fast pitch softball, the pitcher pitches just about every game. And there's a reason why. And it's because their arm is actually going in the natural motion, which is under. So like when you do this is the natural motion of your arm when you're like, if you're bowling, basically.
Yeah.
Coming over the top is not the natural motion of your arm, so it puts a lot of strain on it. And so I was actually told by throwing sidearm a bunch that I was going to have all the injuries. I was the kid who never had any. Now, I didn't throw very hard. I was somewhat of a junk ball pitcher, so I made the ball move every which way, left, right, up, down. Didn't really matter. Maybe not
Throwing
up.
sidearm.
Oh, dude.
You made it move.
Oh, my
mind's blown.
fastball probably moved a foot left to right. But I could put the ball wherever I wanted, which was really fun because I didn't throw hard, and so I would get in people's heads. I saw pitching as like a mind game.
Amazing.
And so I'd be like, what are you thinking? I'm going to do the opposite. Yeah. So I have moments in time just looking back and being like, it was so fun to be like, all right, if I'm the batter, I'm thinking about this, I'm going to do this and do this instead. So like it was a 3-0 count on one kid. I distinctly remember I threw him 3 curveballs in a row and struck him out.
Wow.
Which is not what you're supposed to do. Usually 3-0, you're supposed to throw a fastball.
I could ask so many questions about baseball, and we can make this a baseball podcast, but we're going to get it back.
And I still do. I still enjoy doing it, which is really cool because my son now, probably this season specifically, is when Will has become incredibly just interested in it. So every night, well, now season's over, but every night he would ask me, hey, Dad, are the Rangers playing? Hey, Dad, are the Rangers playing? Even if it's like midway through the game, he's like, can you just put it on? Because he sleeps down by the living room. He's like, I just want to listen to it while I go to sleep. And he goes, if they score, you got to come in here and tell me. Now, I didn't because I want to go to bed.
Yeah.
But he did make me say, he was like, if I fall asleep in the morning, you need to tell me to score.
Yeah.
And so I had to do that. We've been doing that for the past 3, 4, 5 months now. Awesome. So we took him to a Rangers game for his birthday, actually, about three weeks ago. But it's been cool to watch him start to figure out. He's like asking questions. He's like, what are they doing? Why do they do this? What is this? He has a favorite player. So it's been really cool. I love it. Yeah, dream was always to play pro.
Yeah. So needless to say, there was like almost a false identity in your life.
It was absolutely the false identity. It was the only identity that I had, which later on God will take that away.
Yeah.
So yeah, I poured everything into that. Like that is what I wanted to do. That's where my extra time went. Everything. It was honestly, it's what kept me out of trouble for the most part because I was so scared that if I did anything wrong, I would mess it up. I did get baptized when I was 15. I would say I call it getting dunked because nothing really changed. But I still am incredibly grateful for the church that I went to growing up. My mom, from what I remember, was involved in that church super, super, super early. She sung in the worship team, and she was a small group leader for the girls. I went on mission trips growing up every summer, went to the camps, did all the things. The one key thing that I did not do was ever read my Bible outside of church. And that was, I think, as I look back, it was a big, big, big piece of what happened and while I struggled, especially as I got later in high school. Sexual sin became a really, really big thing at the end of middle school, continued into high school, continued after that for many, many years of just treating women really poorly. Started with porn, and that just gave me a different image of who women were. They were an object. They were something that gave me pleasure. They were not image bearers of God. They were not daughters to God. They were not sisters in Christ. Like that is not the image of who I had of them. And so, as I even say that, I even wrote it in here, is like for any of the girls that I ever treated terribly, like I'm so deeply sorry for that because that is not the way you should ever be treated and is not what you deserve. And unfortunately, I was one of the people that did that, and it pains me that I was that person. And so I'm incredibly sorry if you're one of those people that ever gets to listen to this, that I did hurt in that way. Graduated from high school, went to Tyler Junior College, although I applied to Baylor, got into Baylor, put the deposit down at Baylor, but then got offered to come walk on at Tyler Junior College literally 3 months before I was supposed to go to Waco.
Oh, really? Did you get all that money back and everything?
No,
from Baylor?
I don't think so. Mom, Dad, you'll have to tell me if you did. Maybe I owe you $500 or something. But no, I don't.
But you ended up going to Baylor
afterwards, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was the school I wanted to go to. I wanted to go to a Big 12 school. It was actually also thought I remember distinctly wanting to go to TCU. Like that was one of the ones when I was like early on wanting to go to. I actually never went and visited though. I went to Waco and I loved being in a Big 12 school. And growing up in Austin, I actually never wanted to go to UT, even though I grew up a UT fan. But I loved the campus there. It was small, but it was a big school, which is where I wanted to go. So yeah, went to TJC for a year, played baseball. Really started to put the stiff arm on God here, even though my roommate was actually the kid who got up and read his Bible every morning, went to church every Sunday. It was right in front of me.
Wow.
And
God had it right there the whole time.
And I actually went off the deep end even more. Like I rejected. I remember coming back blackout drunk to the dorm room. All kinds. Like I'm like, what did I miss here? Like he's trying to get my attention with the roommate. Great guy. I think he still lives in Groesbeck, Texas, which is a really small town that has like one stoplight, and it's a little good old town. It's like 40 minutes from Waco, but he was a great guy, and thankful. Even like I remember, even though we didn't have a lot of talks about faith, I remember him just having an impact just by the way he actually had his habits and was doing stuff and that type of thing. So that was really cool. But this is when alcohol actually became a big part of my life.
And that was still freshman year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that was still freshman year in college. Ended up getting redshirted there. Took the sign. So didn't take the sign about God, but took the sign that baseball was not the future. And I hung them up and transferred to Baylor.
Wow.
Went to there my sophomore year. Just wanted to focus on academics. And
what'd you go to major for?
So I originally went into school wanting to do something with sports, like baseball was life. So I was like, I want to do something with sports in some way, shape, or form. At the time was driven by just wanting to make money. So maybe one thing I didn't say is, at least from my perspective, money was a big challenge in my family. And so I made a pact with myself probably at 15. And it sounds funny. Like the pact at the time was, I'm going to make $100,000 so my family doesn't have to worry about money. Like distinctly, that was the pact that I made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I learned about sports management, learned that from at least people I talk to that they don't make any money. So I'm like, I'm not doing that. And then took a psychology class at Tyler and decided to actually pursue that when I went to Baylor. However, the first class, there's neuroscience, the weed out course, which I did not do well in, which is really funny now.
Yeah, because you're back.
Yeah.
I'm back in it, getting my master's in mental health counseling. So and I looked back at my transcript because I had to get all that stuff, and I thought I had failed that class or got a D, but I still got a C, which means I would have been able to continue to pursue it. So there was something going on.
You just didn't enjoy it enough to be like, this is where I want to go.
Well, I don't even know if I knew what my grade was. I think I thought I failed, which they would have made you take it again. But
to get credit.
Yeah, or to let you continue on the program.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I guess I didn't remember what my grade was. So then I switched back to business.
Okay.
Ended up getting a degree in accounting. Still don't do anything with that, and I've been in sales for the last decade. Helps me talk about numbers to clients, but yeah, it's been super useful just to understand business through the way that money flows. But yeah, I don't do really anything.
It's just funny how like we'll all go get big 4-year degrees and then not do anything with the degree we get.
Well, I guess I probably should have pursued the path that God initially put a desire in.
Yeah.
Because I've made a circle back around to it. Talk about detours.
Right.
Yeah.
Or kids, if you're deciding on a college, don't decide for a while.
The sophomore year was probably one of the biggest moments and impacts in my life. I don't remember if it was sophomore or junior year, but this is around when I went to Baylor. This is about the time, I think, that my parents got divorced officially. And so that plus it's the first time in my life that I didn't have baseball. And it's the first time in my life I didn't have built-in friends, which from a team. So I went to Baylor. I did know people there, but it was the first time that I had the opportunity to like figure out who I was. I had a lot of time to myself. I was living alone. And so this was a big point in it. So what does everybody do? Don't know how to find friends. Sweet, let's join a fraternity. So that's what I did.
Right.
Joined a fraternity. And that is where alcohol and drugs absolutely took off. Still continued to play, like sports was a big part of that. Played intramurals, got to travel playing flag football with our intramural fraternity team, which was a blast.
That's cool.
Yeah, so like we won our tournament at Baylor, and they got to go play in Lubbock against schools from all over Texas. So it was fun to go do.
You friends with any of the frat guys or?
Not really. If I come across them, like I had kept in touch a little bit after school, and we'd gone to see him and stuff. But yeah, no, I don't really talk to anybody from Baylor. The only person that I do talk to from this point back is my best friend Camden, who I've known since I was roughly 5 years old. And he's the only one that's been sort of that tried and true friend. I would say he's probably the one that I opened up to just in general about stuff.
We talked to him. We talked about him on I think a friend podcast.
Probably.
Yeah.
So he's got he's got three little girls. Yeah. He lives over in Fort Worth and works for a roofing company. Wonderful guy. But the one other part of that is I also didn't surround my friends at all growing up with Christ followers. Went to church, but I didn't hang out with any of those people outside of church, really. And still, even though there were people in our fraternity who did go to church mostly and occasionally, I think I remember going in Waco, good gosh, maybe twice in 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, I would go back when I went back home, but I didn't have that friend group.
Yeah, so you're
so identity was gone.
Bible.
Community's not there. No Bible, no identity, no community.
Yep.
Talk about a recipe for disaster.
Right.
And so at one point, I mean, it got so bad that I was blackout drunk 2 to 3 nights a week and had no idea what I did before. Drugs were involved in that. Anxiety started kicking in. Strip clubs, like you name it, I was probably doing it. So it was, and I didn't care about school. It was just something I needed to do because I felt obligated because my parents were helping pay for it and had loans. So I just needed to do it. I'm lucky that I got out of school, quite honestly. I thought I was going to not make it out of school I had to pass.
I was wondering if it took the 4 years or longer.
Well, I did. So freshman year and then 4 more. So it took 5.
Okay.
Yeah. So it, like I said, I didn't care that really. So I just kind of took my time doing whatever I wanted. I was really living for the weekend and some weekdays.
Right.
But yeah, I was, and the thing that I would tell myself is, this will stop after college. I'm just a college kid. This is part of what you go through. And, it didn't. It continued on. Now, the one really awesome thing that happened obviously during this time is I met my wife, at Baylor. And so that was the biggest blessing that happened that whole time. That was in school, is that I met her, and we've been married what will be for 11 years in December. So that has been incredibly awesome. Biggest blessing. I would say she calmed me down a little bit, but I was still a little rowdy. I had a nickname which was Wild Bill in college. He was the alter ego.
Thank you for divulging that.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
He was the alter ego that I hope never comes back ever.
It reminds me of the movie. Sorry, just quick pause. Wild Hogs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Was he called the Black Knight or something? Yeah. Anyway.
No, it
so
was.
If we chant Wild Bill,
don't do it.
Don't do it.
No,
we don't want
that's a monster.
Okay.
But even through there's honestly probably many times that I should have gone to jail when I was there. I mean, I got pulled over, hammered, drunk 3 times at least. And I was so arrogant. I remember talking back to the cop and just being so arrogant that he was like, you need to get out and park your truck. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And I would back my truck into the parking spot and be like, I'm not that bad. I could do whatever I want. And I just didn't care.
You just felt untouchable.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
Yeah.
I even wrecked my truck drunk and then lied to my parents. Mom, Dad, I don't remember if I told you that. But yeah, I lied to them. Luckily, nobody got hurt in that situation. But yeah, it was
So 3 times pulled over, never had to go to. Wow.
like talking to the cop
Right. Right.
outside, literally my door. He didn't make me.
Wild.
I don't. God was doing something.
Yeah.
Because I should have gotten probably 3 different DUIs DWIs and DUIs. So that was, the debauchery was real, continued even after college. I remember at least one time where I was outside, I think it was a hotel room. No, not a hotel room, just a hotel in the parking lot, with my doors of my truck open, and I was passed out. I don't know how I got there. And I think Katie came and found me.
Wow.
I was like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how to stop. And I never drank at home by myself. Never drank. It was always social stuff. I don't know if it's an anxiety, social anxiety, but man, I just always had to have a drink in my hand when it was social stuff was going on.
So what was the straw that broke the camel's back? What was the awakening moment?
My kids, unfortunately, not my daughter. I was still doing some of that
Okay.
stupid stuff even after that. Even that caused endless amounts of fights with Katie when I was just drunk and said a lot of terrible things, which I've had to go back and apologize for. You'll actually, nothing like watching a Google camera catch you in a fight of what you said to your wife when you're drunk. That is not a fun video to go back and watch the next day.
Yeah.
That one really hurt. But yeah, my son was born in 2019, and for whatever reason, that's also shortly after that COVID hit and gave time to sort of start thinking through that.
Okay.
And we had never consistently gone to church. Katie was raised Catholic. I was raised in a non-denominational church, much like the one we go to today. And we couldn't agree on what kind of church we wanted to go to or how we wanted to raise our kids. So we ignored it. Great solution. And even when Charles was born, we didn't go to church. And I remember my mom even asking me a couple of times, she's like, did you find church? And I'm like, yeah, I'll get around to it. 19, my son was born, and the thoughts started coming like, we got to start going back to church or something.
Yeah.
And I didn't know where to start. And then COVID happened, so then I just started watching ones. Had watched Gateway online, had started watching Hope online, and then had reached out to the pastor that I grew up going to at the church back home.
Yeah.
Asked him, it's like, hey, any ideas? Hope was on that list. We went to Hope, and then Katie fell in love with it, and so that's where we've been there for the last 5 years. And then stuff started taking off. From there.
That's so encouraging.
Yeah,
Because when I met you 2 years ago, I thought you'd been at the church and hard in the paint for at least 10 years, 15 years. And you're fresh.
Yeah.
Fresh back in it.
Oh yeah,
That gives me chills
like
thinking about
super fresh back in
that.
it.
Yeah. Just that gives encouragement to guys. Like, it's never too late.
No,
You can easily
Like one
dive
step
in.
away.
Yeah.
just you're one
Find a
decision away.
community, get into the church.
And it might feel uncomfortable. I know I've heard a lot of people that are like, yeah, if they walk in, everybody's going to judge me. Everybody's going to look at me. Well, one, nobody knows what you're walking in their way.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
2, just go find a spot and sit. You don't have to do anything crazy, but like just take a step in the door.
Yeah.
You never know where God might meet you, because he definitely met me. He definitely met me at Hope. And that is when God really started to get a hold of me. In 2020, we were still watching online. We had just moved into our house in May of 2020, somewhere time after probably like fall time. I was mowing my grass in my backyard, and had started listening to sermons, just getting back into it, listening to the sermon from Pastor back home. Don't even remember what it is about, but God was like, got a hold of me while I'm mowing the grass, and he's like, I have so much more for you. Like, those are the words that I got. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't even tell Katie that happened when it did. But from that point on, I've never been the same. I can tell you the point in my backyard, where it was, and that day forever changed my life. God was like, it's time to get rid of the crap. Stop doing this stuff. And it's time for you to walk with me. And it's been an absolute adventure ever since then. So as I look back, I think we talked about a couple of them. Identity, not reading the Bible, no community, like just a big recipe for disaster.
For disaster, for sure.
Yeah. So after that happens, like I said, I look back, there's so many different parts of my journey that like God was totally there. He had his hand on me for whatever reason. Good gosh, I don't deserve it given all the stuff that I did. But even just looking at the stuff on paper, it's just gratitude is the only word that comes to mind.
For sure.
Of like,
For sure.
You continue to pursue me, God. And I still don't know why. And I wrestled with that a lot whenever I was getting back into my faith, because I went through a massive deconstruction of like, okay, well, I grew up in church. What happened? What do I believe? Why do I believe it? And I spent all kinds of time researching, good God, all kinds of stuff, which for me was super helpful. It brought me back to a place of what I believe, why I do, and that God is real.
Yeah. And we talk about the recipe, including community. How soon after you guys joined the church did you dive into the men's Bible study and serving and so on?
Nah, it took a while.
Okay.
Probably, I'm trying to think of when we actually joined. I think it might have been the following year, like 2021. So it was probably like, because we didn't go, even when the church opened back up, we didn't go back because Will was still super young. Mm-hmm. So we just didn't want to bring him back into the church, just given with COVID and all the stuff going on. Like, we'll wait it out for a little. So it might have been fall when we first stepped foot inside the church. And then it was probably the following year, if I remember right. It was probably whenever we became actual members of it. But even then, for the first year that we actually started going, I still didn't read my Bible. Never cracked it open. Took it. I don't even remember if I took it to church, but I still didn't read it. And so I knew I needed to start getting connected. It was shortly after we had joined that I did go get connected. I actually tried to join a different group first. The first group that I ever joined was actually the business and leadership one that Mike leads. And then Mike was the one who introduced me to men's Bible study. And then I had put on my sheet, just given everything that had gone through in my life, to go serve as students.
Okay.
And, it would have been a few months, I guess, after that, because I think I started, because it would have been springtime, and then I think I started serving as students in the fall of 21 in Connections. But yeah, still didn't read my Bible, didn't do any of that. I actually told William, the pastor, that I'm like, no, I'm not leading kids because I don't know anything. So I'm just going to be Connections. And he's like, you sure you don't want to be a leader? I'm like, nope. Thank you. So yeah, that was still a big part though. Like didn't crack my Bible for a whole year. Even after getting back into church. And then
what was it that made you get connected and two, open your Bible? What were you feeling a call, or what was it?
I just remember knowing that I needed to get connected. Mm-hmm. The excuse I always told myself is that I hate reading, which you guys know. I read a bunch now.
You do read a ton.
You unlocked that.
You unlocked it.
Well, I think I just had to figure out maybe what I like to read. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that was always my excuse. I hate reading, so I'm not going to read.
Yeah.
So, and that was everything. I'm just not going to. Don't want to. Not going to. And then I heard about the Bible recap, which if you haven't ever gone through that, incredibly awesome. And one of the things that came out of that is, so what Tara Lee Cobble does at the end of it is she makes you find a place where you see God in every single episode that she does. And these episodes are like 5 minutes. And she just breaks down what you read for the day. And then she says, hey, where did you see God? Most of the time, that's really easy. When you get into things like numbers, that's very difficult. But it forces you to look for God in every single passage, somewhere, where his character is, what he's like, what he did. And it gave me a big perspective that I had a skewed view of who God was, which was, hey, he's up there with a big stick ready to whack you for all the bad stuff you've done. And I had to completely shift my mind of who God is and what his character is. And that helped me tremendously. And then it opened the door I mean, the floodgates flew open after that, after I went through the Bible in a year, which is funny because the first time I ever cracked my Bible was the first time I ever read through it in a year.
That's incredible.
And Katie was so annoyed with me because she drops little nuggets in the episodes when you're going through the Bible recap. And I was so infatuated with it. Like I'd run like telling Katie this, and she was not quite there as far as like wanting to get involved and doing everything in church. And she was getting so annoyed with me. I remember she was like, "Dude, would you just stop talking about this stuff?" What's funny, she's finishing it up now, and she's pointing out stuff that I had told her way back when. So it's really cool to watch her like get excited about it now too. And so she's on that path of like wanting to go deeper and learn more and all that kind of stuff. So it was funny though. Like she was like, "Would you just shut up?" Because that's all I want to talk about was what I was learning in the Bible.
Man, speaking of Katie again though, like thinking back to where you came from, what you came out of.
I mean, she was in all of it,
And
like,
she was-
she was there.
she was deep
She watched
into
a
it.
lot of it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, she was the one who was talking to cops for me.
Praise God for
Yeah.
Katie.
Girl got
Yeah.
some patience.
Yeah, for sure. Man.
She always jokes with me. She goes, "I saw the potential."
She knew.
That's awesome.
She's playing the long game.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
She trusted in God.
golly, yes. Which is, she's been a massive, massive, massive blessing in all of this. So it is, so finally cracked the Bible open. Cool story, though, maybe right at the beginning of just getting back into faith. I remember distinctly having a dream that I was going to be on stage teaching. I still don't open my Bible yet. Freaked me out. And I'm like brought me to tears. Like I was terrified that God was going to ask me to get up and teach the Bible. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I remember going to work one day and I was like, I just need to call my mom because she's the only one that I knew at the time that would understand what was going on. And she said, "It's interesting that you bring that up because I had the same vision for you whenever you were a little boy." And I was like, "Shut up. That doesn't make me feel better."
Yeah. That giving me chills, bro.
I was like, "Oh my gosh, please don't do that. I don't
awesome.
know. Please no."
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Now I do. So
Yeah.
it's been an interesting ride and journey. He's taken me places that I never thought I would ever do or ever want to do, and given me desires that I never thought I would have. But he did push me to start getting involved at church, as well as my wife. She serves in kids ministry now and at women's Bible study. I'm with the high schoolers men's Bible study. I did a small stint with young adults for like a year and a half as well. But the cool thing is when I did get connected, when we sat at what I call the wisdom table, I think the young kids now call it the old heads. Cause I got called one of those the other day. Like, "You're an old head." Like, I call it wisdom. But when
They didn't call you Unk?
no, they did not,
Okay.
luckily.
I get Unk.
It's just because you're a little bit older, right?
Yeah, yeah. A little bit.
It must be the gray beard.
Much grayer.
When I sat down at that table, I was walking through two things that were pretty difficult at the time for me. And two of the guys that were at that table had walked through those exact two things before in their life. And so it was another like, "Hey, God's right here. He's right here. He's looking
Yeah.
for you. He's looking out for you. God's orchestrating. Just keep following his lead." And so that was another just big God moment that happened. And then obviously men's Bible studies, where God introduced me to every single one of the guys that are here with the podcast, with Fishing for Men. And it's been really cool and just forever grateful again. Like that's just the word as I wrote this out of this just gratitude.
Well, big
God.
steps in vulnerability to you too after getting back into the church and pouring into these. Like it takes it's one thing to get back in church and join a group. It's another to open your mouth.
Yeah.
It takes a whole nother step to be vulnerable with a bunch of men that you don't know what they was going to think of that.
Especially when they were all, that was 5 years ago ish. They were probably all at least 30 years older than me.
Oh yeah. Well, they're all still 30 years old.
Yeah, they are still all 30.
Yes.
It was just easier for me to do math at 30.
It was like, you're the math guy. You went to school for accounting.
So yeah, there's a reason why I was supposed to sit at that table
For sure.
Coming back into church.
Those
and
guys
just
are good at
listening.
that.
I feel the same way.
Those
Like-
guys are good at having you open your mouth.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Mike forces it out of you a lot of times, but
How many times, Billy? What do you think? Shut up, Mike. But I'm again eternally grateful for that. Another just big moment is as I transitioned to that. I had a just big crisis of like, figuring out what to do for work. I work at a tech company right now, and it was a place that I didn't feel like I could be a Christian, and so I tried to leave, and God shut that down by having nobody return any applications whatsoever. And it was the first time in my career that ever happened. Usually I would get responses back of something, just absolute crickets. 2 weeks later after that happened, I made a guy at work who's Christian. And he's like, hey, we have this group. This is going on. Yeah. I was like, okay. Another moment just to follow him. But I was scared to be God. Or not, well, I'm not God. I was scared to be who I was in God at work. I was scared to talk about my faith. But he gave me the courage to step out. I put it on my LinkedIn page, and he has continued to work in some incredible ways through work. And I've had some awesome conversations just by being bold about my faith and encouraging other people to step out and do it too. And so even in that and being terrified to talk about it at work, like God has been orchestrating and working and pushing and making me uncomfortable in so many ways.
Right.
But it's been so fun. And so he continues to do that. But yeah, he's taken me on an adventure over the last 5 years. One that I never could have dreamed of, never would have asked for, quite honestly. And now I'm in a stage right now where he's asking me to change careers, which is even more terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, majority of your life, you were on the completely different path.
Oh gosh. Like
It's
talk
only
about
been,
the path to
It's
destruction.
only been 5 years,
I know. It's wild.
but I bet it seems like much longer than 5 years because it's been the richest part of your life.
Dude, it's felt like a long time.
Right.
I have to pinch myself or just go back and look and be like, oh man, like it's only been 5 years and God, you've done so much.
Yeah.
Like you are awesome. But I can't talk about my story without talking about my family, which has been one of the most just cool things that have happened. Because I just think about where our family was headed whenever I wasn't involved or wanting to deal with my faith. And he has worked in our family so much, and he's put us on a, like, if we were on a trajectory going downwards on a graph, he literally turned that like straight exponential in ways that I never would have imagined would have happened. Like faith is absolute number one in our house. It was not that way 5 years ago. It's changed our life. It's changed our rhythm of life. It's changed the way we engage with our kids. It has absolutely changed. I mean, everything down to like what we watch on TV. Like it has changed everything inside our house, and he still continues to challenge me in how to lead my family well, but also present opportunities for Katie to do the same. And so we've been working together, dealing with 3 kiddos who are 8, 6, and 1. So our house is incredibly wild and crazy. But despite all that, like watching Katie lead a Bible study, she got asked to do that after like a year of just being there, which is really cool. Like to watch her step into that because she wasn't raised going consistently to church either. And so it was really cool to watch her step into that. But even just with the kids, she finds Bible studies to do with the kids from different places that she finds on like social media and different moms. And so she'll sit down and do Bible studies with the kids, which is so cool. And then watching my kids memorize Bible verses, like that was not part of our life 5 years ago.
Right.
Watching my son just spout Bible verses in the back of the car, like what? Watching them learn how to pray and teaching them how to do that, and just listening to them talk to God, listening to them ask questions. That's one thing I wanted to really drive home with my kids. Like, I'm a place you can come ask questions. And so we listen to, I take the kids to school on Tuesday and Wednesdays, and we listen to, for any dads out there, we listen to a podcast called Tiny Theologians.
Okay.
And so she walks them through the alphabet, but she, like A is, a word from the Bible or a character of God or something like that. And so there's like 3 seasons of that. What's really cool is, and then we also listen to VeggieTales. But what is cool is in the back seat, whenever we're driving to school, one of them will go, "Hey Dad, hit pause." And they'll just ask me questions. Hey, what does this mean? What does that mean? What is that? What is that? Why do I have to do this? What about this? And then we'll have a conversation like, okay, you can pause it, or you can hit play again.
Play, yeah.
And hit play, and then we'll go a little bit, hey, hit pause. And so it's cool. It's awesome to see the way that their minds think. Like just this week, I had the same conversation with both my kids about why Jesus had to die on the cross for our sins. And they're thinking about it, and they're asking questions. I'm like, so cool that they're thinking about those things, because that was not the trajectory we were on 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And then just watching Katie grow and just yearn for the depth, surrounding herself with a community. Yes, this story is about me, but like I can't talk about it without watching like the growth that's happened in my family, which is just so cool to watch God work. I think it also just exemplifies how critical our role of the man in the house is. And what that means when the man decides to commit to his faith and the impact that they can have on a family. Because God got a hold of me first. And by no means am I attributing all of my family's faith to me. I'm attributing it to God, but he started with me. And I made a commitment for my family that we were going to go to church first. And now there's 4 other people under me that are deep into it. And so like we play such a critical role as men to do that. So that's my encouragement is for any of the guys that are lukewarm, don't want to go to church. You say, hey, you just send your wife and your kids to church and you stay at home. Get your butt up and go to church.
Yeah.
You never know where God's going to meet you. But yeah, as I mentioned, it's been an incredible adventure. God's been so good to me, and it's been more than I would have ever planned. He's still continued to do stuff. He's still continued to challenge me in ways that I don't necessarily want to be challenged. But like I told you guys, like the prayer that I've been praying is really 2. 1 is I need you. And 2 is God continue to challenge me.
Yeah.
Like, where do you need to break things down? Where do you need to challenge me? Where do I need to open up my eyes? Where am I blind to? And that's what I do every morning when I walk around the park. Those are the prayers that I'm praying is I need you and keep challenging me.
Yeah, I guess to end, do you have a scripture or anything to leave us with?
Yep. So just the last thing is Psalm 103, 1 through 5. And I know, Cody, this is one of your favorites too. But praise the Lord, O my soul. All my inmost being, praise his holy name. Praise the Lord, my soul, and forget not his benefits, for he forgives all your sins. He heals all your diseases. He redeems your life from the pit. He crowns you with love and compassion, who satisfies your desires with good things so that your youth is renewed like the eagles. And in so many ways, like God has done all of these, and he's still continuing to redeem, restore, and renew so much of my life.
Awesome, Billy. Awesome. I love it, man. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.